Welcome to Perry, Oklahoma, and this is me a little bit of a different video. I'm here with my buddy Brent Kemnitz. We work together at Wichita State in the athletic department, and so this is his hometown. So we're gonna learn a little bit about the history of Perry, Oklahoma, including the service station here. It's the oldest continuous running service station in the state of Oklahoma, I believe. Is that
yes,
correct?
That's 100% true. My dad, I think, bought it in 1955. I think it started in 37. My brother took over the business. It's still the old Ma and Pa. People go in there, they'll check your oil, check your air pressure, and give you the good treatment. But it's only one. It's the longest running in the state and only one left in Perry. But priceless childhood memories for me.
So we're going to come back here at the end of the video and learn all about that. But first, let's take a little tour around town and learn about the history of Perry, Oklahoma. Before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about my friend Brent Kemnitz, because he's no ordinary tour guide. He was the pitching coach at Wichita State University for 38 years and was part of one of the best college baseball traditions in the history of the NCAA. Won the College World Series in 1989, was in 7 College World Series, won as many games as any coach in the history of Division I baseball. He coached 17 Major League Baseball players and 9 first-round draft picks. He's been inducted into 4 Hall of Fames and is going to be inducted into his 5th one, the Kansas Hall of Fame, later this fall. All right, we're going to walk around the square in Perry with Brent, and we'll learn a little bit more about Perry.
You got the Carnegie Library. I remember going in there in the 60s. I was 4 to 14, which are priceless ages. Perfect town to grow up. We'd have a contest every year to see who could read the most books, which was great because I was always competitive and I always thought I needed to read the most, so you'd have to go in there and read them and then get them to acknowledge that you did read it. But I understand they've maintained it and it's still one of the best there is, you know, for a town this size. But we always, the 16th celebration is what we call it, the Cherokee Strip celebration. I think it's the 2nd Saturday of September every year, and big parade, people come into town. You know, growing up they'd always have Ferris wheels, carnival rides, kind of like the Midway at the State Fair. Just fun stuff you don't forget and stuff you look forward to every year as a kid. Then you get the courthouse. I guess what it's become famous for is April of 1995. Captured Timothy McVeigh. Obviously a big deal at the time. Nobody knew for sure what was going on, but once again, historic county seat, Perry, and the courthouse, which is still kept up and looks good. Haven't been here, living here since summer of '74, but they've always made a great effort of trying to keep all the buildings up to speed and keeping activity and energy downtown, which I think is cool. You know, Perry's won a lot of Main Street awards for a town their size, of maintaining their energy, and, you know, people just taking a lot of pride in it.
Yeah, this is a big county square, so there's a lot to see for a town of 4,400, which used to be 5,700. So the population's been around 5,000 for a long time, it looks like, when you look at the census.
When people ask me, I always say 5,000. So it's give or take, but it's been there forever.
And there's the Kemnitz station. We're going to
longest running continuous service station in Oklahoma.
We're going to learn about that more here in a few minutes as we continue around the square. It's only about 108 degrees today, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, we picked this day a while back, but what we didn't know is it's going to be 108, so we're getting the full taste of Perry, Oklahoma midsummer. Yeah, I think that's just celebrating the history of Perry and Noble County and the land run and all the things that make the small town Oklahoma great and interesting.
So I read that when they did the land run, they had 40,000 tents in Perry, Oklahoma, and one of the guys who came, he got here first and was selling beer for $1 a bottle, and he sold 38,000 glasses of beer.
That's an entrepreneur. That's a businessman.
Yeah, they said that water was scarce here, so
why not just get a beer? kind of celebrating the rich history of Perry, Oklahoma and our wrestling teams. We've won countless state championships. I mean, it's just kind of a given that you're supposed to win state at Perry. I never wrestled, but was a huge wrestling fan growing up in the 60s. And, you know, if you ever live in Perry, you take a lot of pride in this. We had 2 Olympians, Danny Hodge, Jack Van Bever. Danny Hodge was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. But tons of friends that were state champion wrestlers. Of course, that was during basketball season. So if they were pulling weight, I was like eating cheeseburgers and kind of rubbing it in a little bit. So they made a point of pulling me out of basketball practice to take me to the weight room and put me in their crazy holds. But no, I take a lot of pride, and I brag about it all the time, our amazing history in wrestling. And there's a big sign on the interstate, so I think anybody that has any wrestling background or any history of any sport of winning state championships, they think of Perry.
So this is a big square. There's quite a few buildings. I mean, this compared to the towns I usually do, this one's much bigger. 4,000 compared to 1,000.
Yes.
You got some built, or obviously some businesses like the Comeback Lunch.
Hey, that has a long history with me. It was a big deal growing up in the 60s when on a Saturday night we got to come eat dinner at the Comeback Lunch, get a little chicken fried steak. Eddie's dressing on the salad was a go-to. I still ordered that to take home with me. When I was a senior in high school in 1974, that was part of my pregame ritual. Before the basketball game, I'd go in about 3 or 4 o'clock and eat at the Comeback Lunch. It was just kind of my routine. And every time I come back and visit, that's one of my go-tos is, hey, we got to go to Comeback.
Brent told me this is where he played high school baseball. It's right here by the football stadium. It has this really cool old stone walls that they've still kept intact, and they still play football here. But unfortunately, they don't play baseball here anymore. But it's pretty neat to see what it used to be, where the old field used to be. We're here at the Kemnitz Oil Station. Is that
Kemnitz Oil Company gas station.
And this is Craig Kemnitz. and obviously the brother of Brent, and he's going to show us around and give us a little tour of the historic Sinclair station and maybe some other things.
It opened up November 11th, 1937, and it is still operating today. And in November, we celebrated the 85th anniversary of the oil company. We've had 2 governors come here to the gas station. We've had the president of the Oklahoma Oil Marketers, John Grondike on Grondike Trucking, Rusty Shaw, owner of On-Q. We've had several dignitaries, oil magnates through the years come here and just say hey. So it has been quite interesting, everybody I've met. And the key to the success of the gas station and longevity is suit up and show up every day. And we've been fortunate here because my dad always had the ethic, we don't do sick. So I have been here 68 years, and in my tenure at this gas station, it's never been closed because of a sickness. We'll cover for one another if somebody has to take off and maybe make doctor appointments or something, but nobody's ever been sick long enough for this place to ever be closed in 85 years. Well, here's one of my customers, Wade Sheets. They had plumbing company and they traded with us probably, his dad and grandpa started it. They probably traded here 50 years. Yeah. And so Wade is one of my, the key too is faithful customers. We've had some customers that have traded with us since 1955 on the books, and they're still trade with us today, whether it be them or their family, grandkids, or they still trade here today. One guy asked me about it 2 years ago. I was talking about this station, the old stuff in there, and he said, you can't go back to that. And I said, I don't have to go back. We never left. I don't know no different than this gas station. And the cash register, if you come on in here, it was prior to us. My dad bought the place in 55, but that's a 1947 cash register, and we still use it to this day. Okay, here's my mom, Laura. She's 91 years old, mother of Brent and myself, and they bought the station when my dad was discharged in the Navy in 1955. They bought it 3 months after he was discharged in the Navy, bought the gas station. Because Dad said he went, painted houses for a month or two, said he didn't really like it, so he bought himself a job. And that was April of 55. So, and the banker at that time said you couldn't make it here in 55, so they felt like they had something to prove. They didn't loan all the money, and a farmer loaned them the other half of the money. They paid them back, and that was in 1955, so they proved the naysayers wrong. You know, convenience stores popped up in probably 1970, 71. Prior to that, there was 22 gas stations in Perry, just like this. And then what's happened is your convenience stores and stuff have came in, they sell beer, pop, what have you, and sell the gas for nothing, and that's what destroyed most mom and pop, because convenience stores, people traded them and didn't know they really made the mom and pop go broke. So, you know, but a lot of guys get that, my era get it. They trade here and don't trade at convenience stores because that's what killed small town America.
Yeah. John, my specialty was fixing flats.
Yeah.
I could wash cars, and I'm perfectionist like my dad. Horrible lube oil filter changes. That stuff ended up all over me. I was fine filling up cars. Specialty fixing flats.
This mural on the wall I had painted 10 years ago, it came off of a Sinclair Oil Company 1937 road map. So I had the local artist look at that road map and
paint that mural on the building.
When I got to Perry, I thought I would just get a little tour of the gas station and be on my way, but Craig opened up the doors to multiple places and showed me around for the next hour or so some incredible things. There's so much footage that it would have been difficult to put all of it into this video. But I am going to make it available in the description. There's a link to some bonus footage of Craig taking me all around, showing me all kinds of stuff, some old cars. There's a family truck that was bought the year he was born. And then across the street, he takes me over to his office that his wife had decorated. That's their ranch they live on. And every turn around the corner, there was more stuff. And I was just like blown away. And I took so much film of all this. It was so incredible. All these valuable things and cool things and historical things, motorcycles. And then obviously he's very proud of his brother, and that's fun to see those two kind of give and take back and forth. And then, you know, of all his brother's players that he coached. And so that was a cool thing to see. And just an incredible amount of stuff. So watch the bonus footage in the description if you want to see lots more of this tour with Craig.
He was arrested here, and we heard it on the news, and I was working at the gas station, and Tom Brokaw shortly thereafter called the station because helicopters started landing around the town square and said the Oklahoma City bomber had been arrested in Perry, Oklahoma. So that day was madness. People drove here from everywhere, and so he got arrested, and he was in jail, though, on the 3rd floor up there. The top is the county jail, and he was arrested and about to get arraigned, and then they found a part or something that came out of the rear end of the truck or something, and found that he was here because his charge, I don't even think he was going to have to pay a couple $100 or something to bail out. But anyway, they found him, they found what he did, they traced it to here. Then federal agents came here. They took him from here to Ditch Witch with Charles Machine Works, where they have an airport and a helicopter pad, and the helicopter picked him up after they arrested him and took him about 2 miles west to Ditch Witch and flew him to the federal penitentiary in El Reno, Oklahoma. But he came out west door over here, the courthouse is where they loaded him up, and he came out. What you've seen the footage on TV for years was on the west side of the courthouse.
I grew up here. I've been in this building 50 years. What year was the courthouse built?
I think it says 1915 on the door, or on the top.
1915.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What's on that floor now? Wow. This place, I was born in 56, so I'm guessing 62, 63 on. You know, I played for the Jersey Queen Tigers, and we dominated. It's one of those priceless memories you never forget. But Dauman Park, I basically lived here every night in the summer. I live about 3 blocks from here, but that's where I got my baseball start. And it's just, you know, humble beginnings. But even on off days, we'd come up here and do little, you know, we'd play games with pickup games with people we'd recruit to come up here, ride up here on your bicycle with your glove on your handlebars. Just one of those things. Every time I'm at Perry, I just drive back here, and it always puts a smile on my face. But when I was 10, you know, I wanted to play first base. That was my deal, and I was really good defensively and, you know, okay as a hitter. But my skill was pitching, and for whatever reason, it frayed me out, and I really stiff-armed. I really don't want to pitch. I'd rather play first base. But, you know, I had skills, and the coaches said, you're going to pitch. And, you know, I had a lot of success doing it, but I had a lot of coaches that just gave me big-time confidence, and they, you know, let me know that I had talent there, and this is what you know, where it all started. And just driving by here, it's like, okay, that's as good as small town America gets.
I think there's a lot of other pitchers that you've tutored that are probably glad that your coach pushed you in the direction of pitching.
Well, you know, if you ask anybody, okay, what's Kemnitz or what was he all about as a coach, the first thing out of their mind, they'll say, well, he's a brain guy. Kemnitz is a mental guy. And I take pride in that. I mean, mechanics are important. Everybody's got to figure out what works for them. But the difference maker is your mind. And I don't think that's just baseball. I think it's for you in track. I think it's, you know, sometimes people put hurdles up in their brain, and that's real life as well. So I think that's the huge part of who I became as a pitching coach.
Well, I'd say on that note, what a great way to end the video. So thanks for showing us around Perry, Oklahoma. Your brother was a character. You've met my brother, so we've now met each other's brothers. So I'm sure he'll be watching.
And
this.
I think they're very similar. They're small town America, just legit guys do anything for you, and just, you know, open up the welcome mat. But yeah, I see them both very similar, which is a huge compliment to each one of them.
Five times.
5 Hall of Fame.
5 Hall of Fames, yeah. He's
Being
been
in
in
Kansas
5,
Hall of
yeah,
Fame.
5 Hall of Fames and the Kansas Hall of Fame coming up.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize he'd been in that many till I read it on my phone. They're going to have me in the Perry Hall of Fame. Now I'm going to get in once. My brother's got 5.
It's the coolest 91-year-old in the country right here driving in her convertible, her T-Bird. All right, Mom, stay out of the heat. Okay, don't put your top down and be driving around. Yeah, just go home and get in the AC.
Hot Rod.